Hello, this is going to be a video on various Unix commands for manipulating files and text. It's going to be quite a simple and quick video before we get on to more advanced things like awk and sed. First command we're going to look at is wc, which is for examining files. It can tell you the number of lines, the number of words, the number of characters, etc. The next one we're looking at is the head and tail command, which is for selecting lines. And finally, we're going to look at the cut command, which is probably the most complicated and can be used to basically select fields. So we'll go through each one in turn. The WC command's very straightforward. Okay, if you want to count, if we look at the files I've got here, if we first of all just have a look at file 01 so we can see what's in it. Okay, that's the contents of file 01. So how do we use WC? Well, if we look at the number of lines, WC minus L, file 01 will tell you the number of lines in the file. If we want to get the number of characters, WC minus C will tell us the number of characters, 24. It might seem a little strange it's 24 because you've got 5 for hello, 5 for world, and then 11 including the space on the next line. But the thing there is the new line character is on at the end of each line. So that's why in fact it's 24. Okay. After that, the final one that is useful, WC minus W, file 01, that tells us the number of words, so 4 words, hello, hello, and then hello world. Alright, so that's pretty straightforward. The next one we're going to look at is the head and the tail command. And what these do, they pick out either the first, they used, well, we'll show an example, it'll be the easiest thing. So ls, if I head file 02, it gives me the first 10 lines. If I want to change that, I can pick, say, the first, I don't want all the first 10, I just want the first 5, let's say. Then I just do -5 and it picks out the first 5. Tail works in completely the same way, but the way around, it does the last 10 or however many we want. Let's say we want the last 2. Okay. One quite nifty thing you can do combining these commands is you can pick a particular line. Let's say I'm interested in getting the 6th line. Okay. Then I'll pick the first 6 and I'll pipe that through. Excuse me. It's that one then. Yeah. And I'll pipe that through the last one, right? And that gives me line 6. And of course, if I want to change that to get some of the lines out, that's very straightforward. That will be line 11, etc., etc. Okay. Right. Okay. The next thing we're going to look at is the cut command, where things do get a little bit more complicated now. The general syntax for the cut command, the general syntax for the cut command is cut, and then we can have options, and then the file or files that we might want to use. The options, the most useful ones I think are going to be, or the most common ones at least, -d, which tells us what delimiter we're going to use to identify our fields. Okay, -d comma would mean a comma delimiter. Okay, and the -f, which tells us which fields we're going to select. So we're going to look at those in a little bit more detail. So let's have ls our directory, and let's have a look at file 03. Okay, so there you can see it's a comma separated file. Alright, so if I'm going to cut from that file, I'm going to have to use -d, and I'm going to have to use comma. Okay, and let's say I want to select the first, be -f, just the first column there, the first field is, there you go, file 04 was a space separated file. So there you go, now we've done file 03, which is the right one, which is cat file 03. You'll see indeed that is the comma separated file. Okay, and we've selected the first field. Now of course they would be separated in different ways, like for example we just saw cat file 04, the exact same file except the delimiter is now a space, and for some delimiters they're a little bit different. You can't just put a space after it, so what you have to do for this and others, which we'll have a look at, is you want to use that syntax there. Okay, the space is there effectively. Okay, then -f1, let's pick a different one this time just for fun. So we should now get the third column, so it should be the address row. Again, that's because I've not changed, file 04. Okay, there we go, and we see we pick out the third file this time, the third field, sorry. Okay, third field. Right. So let's have a look at cat file 05, see what's in that one. And we've got a backslash there, and again, it's not much different. If you want to use backslash, it's one of those ones that you need to put in quotes. So a little bit of experimentation. I'm going to change it to file 05, and you'll discover what to use where. Okay, so that's the -D option. It's pretty straightforward. -F is a little more complicated. We've seen how to select a single field. If you want to select, let's say maybe field 3 and 5, okay, that's all you need to do. So now I'm expecting to see address and bank. When we do this, and there we go, we get address and bank. Let's say up to field 4, okay? How does that change things? You have minus there, then you put a -4, that means all fields up to 4. So now we're expecting to see name, ID, address, and card. Name, ID, address, card, yeah? Okay, what about if we want to do 4 onwards? It's not much different. Just do 4 followed by a dash, and you get, okay, you can, if you go back up to the top here, you can see that's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 onwards. Okay, so no real prizes for guessing. If I want to do, let's say, the 2nd to the 4th, that would, or the 5th, say, that would be the syntax we use. Okay, and there's a few others that are pretty useful. I think we've covered the main ones there. We've done up to and past. So that's really how you use the -F option. There are some other interesting ones. Okay, that as I say, -D and -F are the main ones to understand with this command. However, there are some other ones. For example, if we do complements, that will show everything that's not fields 1 to 5. Okay, and if you look at the back, that's name and spouse. Sorry, 2 to 5. So it includes basically the 1st and the 6th. Okay, so it means it's the opposite of what you've specified with the -F option. We can change the output as well, which I think is probably very useful. So if we do ../ output delimiter equals comma, okay, then it'll do the same thing, but now rather than have the pipe there, it's going to have a comma, all right? Or it's not going to do anything at all because it doesn't like it. Okay, I've just made a slight mistake with the command there. It needs to be a dash there. Okay, output delimiter equals, oh, no I, okay? So third time lucky. There you go, it changes the delimiter to be a comma. The other thing that's pretty useful, and it works in pretty much exactly the same way as the -F field, is the -C, but this time, rather than, let's just take everything else off, rather than be fields, well, C, as it did with the WC command, stands for characters. So if I do this, it's going to select characters 2 to 5, okay? It doesn't like that. -C2-4 file, yeah, take the D option off because it doesn't really make sense to have a delimiter if you're selecting characters, and there we go. Okay, so that's characters 2 to 5, okay, inclusive, and then the rest of them. Okay, let's say we want to go 5 onwards. You see, it's exactly the same way we do it as we did for the F option, so you don't need too much imagination to see how that works. Okay, so that's the sort of starting point of looking at text and files. We're going to, as I say, next couple of videos we're going to look at more complicated things, including awk and sed. Thank you for listening.